under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore, they work all day. Out in the sun, they slave away. While we're devoting full time to floating under the sea.
Hello there, I am Scuba-Doo, and I'm going to be your host today. Today, you get to go with me on a shark diving trip. A real live shark dive. Yes, you heard me right. We're going to be jumping into shark-infested waters with food, and we're going to watch them be fed. Now let's talk about all the things you're going to see on your dive trip today. You're going to see Caribbean reef sharks that are about 8 to 10 feet long, probably about 150 pounds. You're going to see these really cool fish called remora. These fish hitch a ride on these Caribbean reef sharks so that they don't have to do the swimming. I think that's pretty smart. You're going to see beautiful coral reefs, and then you're going to get to witness the feeding frenzy. Now, I have to tell you, there has been some controversy over doing these shark feeding dives. Some scientists believe that whenever you do shark feeding dives, that it's going to eventually create a Pavlovian effect for the sharks. Now, let me explain. You're probably saying, who is Pavlov? Well, a long time ago, this guy named Ivan Pavlov actually studied the drooling habits of dogs by ringing a bell every single time they were fed. Sooner or later, the dogs began to assume that if they heard a bell, it was time to eat. A lot of scientists believe that by feeding sharks on these dive trips, that whenever sharks do hear a dive boat arrive and people splashing around in the water, that it will have the same kind of effect. And if it's not one of those shark dives in which those sharks are going to get fed, maybe they're going to think that we're the dinner. On the other hand, a lot of people believe that sharks that have attacked people have never had anything to do with the sharks that are being fed from these dive operations. And most of them say that when you're in the water with them, they basically ignore you, which may lead us to believe that sharks can actually tell the difference between humans and dinner. So what do you think? You think it's safe to dive with sharks? Well, before you make that decision, let's dive in first. Ready? Set. Where's all my gear? And go! Caribbean reef sharks are dark gray on the dorsal side and white to light on the ventral side. In other words, gray on their backs and light on their belly. The snout is short and rounded, and the eyes are relatively large. Caribbean reef sharks reach a maximum length of about 10 feet. As you can see on this shark, it appears to have a few buddies. Those are small fish called remora, sometimes called a sucker fish or shark sucker. The remora benefits by using the shark as a host for transport and protection, but it also feeds on materials that are dropped by the shark. Caribbean reef sharks are found in tropical waters and are abundant off the coast of the Bahama Islands. They're often found on the outer edges of coral reefs near drop-offs and lying motionless on the ocean bottom. Since they feed off the coral reef system, which is nocturnal and becomes alive at night, they are more active during the nighttime. Caribbean reef sharks feed on bony fishes. They have small pores underneath the skin that allow them to detect electrical fields that get created by underwater movement. In other words, these pores help them find food. These sharks are not considered to be an aggressive species and are not considered dangerous to humans unless you're stupid enough to provoke them. Aggressive behavior is only displayed if the shark feels threatened. Once the boat is anchored above the reef, divers enter the water. The sharks sense the vibrations and basically show up for lunch. As you can see, they do not appear to think that the divers are the lunch. That's me with the hot pink fins. I always make sure my fins are brightly colored so I can be easily found. As the divers swim to the bottom, a specially trained diver descends with a cage of dead fish and a spear. Once at the bottom, he begins pulling one fish at a time out of the cage with the spear, and the feeding frenzy begins. you.